everybody, it's your board barista Fen here with another episode of the Geeky Grind, and I'm starting off this episode without rolling the usual intro vid that plays at the beginning of all my videos, because I wanted to prove to you that I actually read the I've actually read the rules, and we're going to dive in and we're going to talk about all the new rules for the sisters. I'm not going to have a repeat of last week with when I was just off the top of my head with the Necrons, but first we gotta roll that intro.
Hey, honey?
Yeah, what's up?
I would show you what's on the painting table, but there's not in this week's Geeky Grind, but there is not really like a big update. Well, at least not 40k wise. Basically went through, found all my Malfa minis, some terrain for stuff. It's a lot of like D&D stuff, and just a little bit of 40k stuff. But I think I kind of actually want to get back to doing some painting videos, so I'm actually going to wait and show you that stuff later on. But right now we're diving into all this new 10th edition rules. So I'm going to tilt my head over here. Wonderful thing about having two screens, I got you guys recording over here, and I got the news over here. We're just going to dive down through this. So of course, this got spoiled earlier in the week. We got some nice cool art, but first up, as with everything with 10th edition, you're going to have your army rule that goes for any the faction you're picked, and then you're going to have your detachment rules, and then those are going to get added on top of your army rules. So for the army rules across the board, doesn't matter what type of detachment you're playing. For the sisters, Acts of Faith are back. Yes, we are going to be gaining some miracle dice. Yes, we are going to be using them in real dice, but there's some changes. You're still getting a miracle dice at the beginning of each player's turn. So beginning of your turn, beginning of opponent's turn, doesn't matter. If you're going first, you're going to have one miracle die on your turn. If you're going second, you're probably going to be able to bank 2 for your turn. But miracle dice, they're still on the table. The other way that you get one is when one of your units gets destroyed. Now this is a change from 9th edition, because in 9th edition, characters had to get destroyed for you to get this. No, this is just any unit. I think Repentia also had one where they got theirs on when they died. It's a downside because in 9th edition you got one at the beginning of each turn, and you got one whenever your unit killed something. So having to lose your stuff in order to get your miracle dice is, I feel like it's a bit of a nerf, but it's opened up because sisters are toughness 3. You know, of course they have that 6 up. They have that 6+ invulnerable save, but you know, you really don't want to be losing units left, right, and sideways. That's not how you win with sisters. You want to be deleting units left, right, and sideways. So it's definitely a downgrade. But then again, this edition of the game is supposed to be less killy. So, and the other downgrade is, of course, you know, performing an act of faith with your miracle dice. You get them for advanced rolls, you get them for battle shock tests, you get them for a charge roll, you get them for damage roll, you get them for hit roll, saving throw, wound roll. The one big change is it used to be a morale test, now it's battle shock because they've changed the way the leadership mechanic works. But still, it's the same type of dice rolls you're going to be rolling. You were going to sub up miracle dice for anyways, so miracle dice are basically running the same. It's just different ways that you're gaining them. There also is a little bit of a downgrade in the whole fact that for those battle shock tests and for those charge rolls, you're only going to be able to pick one of your miracle dice. You're not going to be able to just grab the 2 that you need and go, oh, I'm swapping it out and I'm doing this. No, 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 no. An act of faith lets you swap one of those dice. So you're like, well, as long as I got the 6, and as long as I roll a 3+, I'm going to make this charge. I feel like that that's actually pretty good because, you know, 3 or 4 is your average roll on a 6-sided die. So chances are, yeah, you're going to basically be able to auto pass those 9-inch charges, but you're not going to be able to do a whole like, I'm 12 inches away, hey, 12-inch on a deep strike charge roll. That's not going to happen with 2 miracle dice. That's going to happen with a really good roll, but it's not going to happen with miracle dice. You're only getting to swap 1. And it's the first, like, the miracle dice, I love that they're back. It's just there's a bit of a nerf to them. You're still only allowed to do it 1 unit, once per phase. Unit can do it. Before making dice roll, a unit from your army with activated 1 more fate dice can perform active faith. If you do, select one of the dice. Value. Each miracle die can only be selected for substitution once. Our miracle dice substitutions. And remove the dice from game. You can use. Yeah. So it's basically. Yeah, you get to do one per phase. On a unit. And the detachment roll. So we're playing Martyred Ladies basically for the index, because and it fits because Martyred Ladies had the whole thing of they could get miracle dice when something. No, they didn't get miracle dice when something died. They got bonuses when something died, and you wanted to lose units with Martyred Ladies. You wanted your sisters to die because then they're all getting like +1 weapon, ballistic skill, getting +1 to hit. Now, if a unit in your army makes an attack, you get to add 1 to you get +1 to hit if it's below its starting strength. So if you got 5 sisters and you lose 1, you're down to 4, +1 to hit. You got 10 sisters and you lose 5 of them, they're +1 to hit. But if you're below half strength, you get +1 to wound. So it means if you've got 5 sisters and you lose 2 of them, then guess what? You're +1 to hit, +1 to wound. And if you're a vehicle and you take any damage, take 1 damage, your vehicle is going to get +1 to hit. That's really making me enjoy and really want to play some castigators right there. That's a spicy meatball. This is gonna be great. They made a joke about Saint Celestine. Basically, once she loses her 2 Gemini jetpack sisters that float around with her, she's going to be getting +1 to hit, +1 to wound. So, and she already hit like a truck in 9th edition. I actually hate the fact that when I sold off my proxy sister army, I ended up not replacing her, and instead I bought a Morin Val official model to be able to use my army. I kind of wish I had Saint Celestine, because I'm missing like maybe actual Adepta Sororitas units, not the like the priestly retinue type stuff that comes with them. I'm only missing like 2 HQs. I need a Celestine, I need a Saint Catherine, I need an Executor, no, an Exorcist, and I think I need the Celestants, the sword, the Shield and Mace sisters, and I need Mortifiers, and I need some Paragon War Suits. But I believe I'm getting the Paragon War Suits in Imperium magazine, so it actually shortens that list down by a bit. But I'm slowly working on basically, I want to have one of every sisters unit, just so I can be like, I got options, but I'm almost at 3,000 points worth of sisters right now. Little spoiler for future episodes. I actually filmed all of my armies that I've got put together right now. I don't plan on buying any more minis until 10th edition drops, so everything's kind of like locked in with its points values right now. And when 10th edition indexes come out, I plan on comparing and contrasting those. So yeah, my 3,000 points of sisters, depending on point swings and stuff like that, might go up to 4,000, but we'll see. Anyways, that's a future episode. And the unit spotlights. They gave us 2 units. They gave us, the first one they gave us was Triumph of St. Catherine. She's got movement 6, toughness 3, base save 3+, 18 wounds. That's really good. Everything, like, if it didn't get more toughness, it got more wounds, and sometimes it got both for stuff. Basically, this is like, you know, normal sisters are 1 wound apiece, so there's 6 sisters on this model. They're 3 wounds apiece, like a low-grade character, so understandable. Leadership is 6+. Objective security 6, because, you know, technically it's 6 sisters. They're not chirps. They're not gonna get double objective control, so I'm good with it. 6 sisters are gonna have 6 bolt pistols, and so 6 shots. It's a HQ character, so hitting on 2s, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. Yeah, everything across the board, I believe. Basically, the stats really only changed. Like, maybe toughness goes up, wounds definitely went up, leadership changed because they changed the mechanic, and yeah, AP went down across the board. Yeah, strength also changed to reflect the changes, but for the most part, it's all the same. Relic weapons. The only sister in the Triumph of St. Catherine that's modeled with a weapon is the sister with the power sword out front, so I'm guessing, like, if they get into close combat, they just start beating you with the relics. The Bloody Rose sisters just beating you with a silver tray full of rose petals. It's kind of narrative fluffy, kind of cool thing. But 18 attacks. That's nuts. That's 3 attacks per sister in the model. Again, it's a leadership HQ, so hitting on 2s, strength 5, because, you know, they're relics. You know, one of them's a power sword, so, you know, +1 strength. That's always good. AP went down. AP is -2. Damage across the board is just damage 1. So it's just like some high-powered, high AP slaps, and there's 18 of them. That's kind of amazing. Before I read the relics over here, I want to jump over to the other side of the data sheet. She's a leader, which means she's going to be able to lead squads. Her leading a squad of Repentia is going to be nuts, because she can basically tank like 17 wounds for a Repentia squad and keep those sisters alive as you're just rolling that death ball across the table. Yeah, it's not bad. Put in a Repentia Superior and a Hospitaller, and then you won't have to use one of the relics that's down here. Awesome. This is just like a straight up, and it's a straight up. I just can't wait to run a Triumph across the table into my opponent. Sisters, I play very aggressively with my sisters. I don't like to hold back with them, because if I hold back, then I'm not killing stuff, and I'm not killing stuff, then my opponent is holding objectives. My opponent is getting into my objectives. I need to kill. That's why I play Bloody Rose sisters. So I'm like, I'm going to shoot until I can get into melee, and then I'm going to meat blender you. It's my plan. I love just full tilt sisters. But relics of the matriarchs. So basically, each of the sisters is like the head of a different order of the sisters. They have their signature order relic. This is also a downgrade. Like, the more I was really hyped at the beginning, but the more I've been watching other videos and I've been thinking it over, I'm like, yeah, it is a downgrade. But, you know, I didn't place it. The fact that she's a leader, and the fact that she can join squads now, the fact that you can do that with her, and you can basically build in, basically adding a HQ to a squad is like giving it more wounds, giving it better toughness. I like that, and it makes me kind of think, yeah, the Triumph of St. Catherine, I want a copy. I want to put one in my army. I want to try it out. I wasn't really that hyped for it in 9th edition, mostly because of the price tag. I mean, this is like a $100 plus model, and I wasn't really comfortable with painting. I've painted a ton of sisters since then. I feel like I can do this justice. I feel like I'm ready for it. And I think we're going to see this is actually going to be a good model. But yeah, the relics and the matriarchs. So instead of getting all 6, you get to pick 2. If she goes down to 5 or less wounds, you only get 1. That's basically what these 2 sections say. So basically, at the start of the battle round, not your command phase, not your turn, battle rounds. Battle round 1. Before, even if you're going second, you're picking 2 of these to be active, which is good because you have the Fiery Heart. All of these are aura abilities, so any unit within 6 gets whichever relic you wanted. So units, Adepta Sororitas units within 6, if it's destroyed, you gain a miracle. Then you gain a miracle dice. You auto get a 6. So if you've lost some sisters that are near this thing, and you're just basically know you're going to lose a bunch of sacrificial sisters that you've charged up that aren't going to be able to survive the crackback, they're just there to soften stuff up, then you're getting a 6 miracle dice, which means yeah, that's good. Since they're the Sacred Rose, Adepta Sororitas units within 6 get +1 leadership. And the new way that leadership works, where if you fail a leadership test, you can't use stratagems, you go to OBSEC 0. And there's another drawback, like you can't benefit from some, like guard can't benefit from orders. I feel like I used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering. There's this thing called the dredge mechanic. It's a way of playing Magic the Gathering without playing Magic the Gathering. And I'm hoping with this new leadership system, being able to make your opponent suffer leadership penalties and fail the leadership test is going to be a gamey way, because if you can basically scare someone off of the objective while they're still standing there and they're OBSEC 0, your opponent's going to have to move that unit off or heal it or somehow get its leadership, get it so it's back in the game, or not zoning out their objective marker so they can get a fresh unit into it. And I think that is going to be interesting. It's probably going to also bait bringing your healing medic characters in in close, where you can get more shots on that unit, you can get more melee attacks on that unit. I feel like I really want to see if there is any mechanics that are basically ways to basically break someone's leadership, to crush their morale, but not actually just be like, well, if I kill them off the objective, then I can take it. I want to play 40k, but not play 40k. I want to mess with some leadership this edition. So if there is a way for people to mess with leadership, having this relic is going to be good. If there's not, I don't know. A lot of these leadership tests, I feel like there's going to be lots of ways to be able to add to it. There's going to be probably ways to re-roll it. There's going to be I have hopes for a morale theme to build your army around, but I feel like there's going to be enough counter to it that it's not going to be broken and it's not going to be something that people are going to hate. But if they are, then guess what? I'm probably going to build it, because I'm a D-gen. I'm a D-gen dredge player. Alright, keep moving on, Fen. You're rambling too much. Simulacrum with the Evelyn Chalice. Friendly sisters units within 6 of this model can perform any number of acts of faith per phase instead of just 1. This means a Retributor squad can use a miracle dice for their hit with a multi-melta. Thanks, Raj. A multi-melta, they can also use a miracle dice to make sure that they wound with that multi-melta. And then if they get through to the damage phase with that multi-melta, they're automatically going to be like, I'll grab this 6 and I'll grab this 6, and you're within melta range. That unit is taking 12 plus 4. That unit is taking 16 wounds. Yeah. Triumph near some retributors, but then also going up and playing with some retributors. Playing with some Repentia. I feel like, you want the Triumph to be close to that squad for turns 1, turn 2, for close to the retributors, and then basically the Repentia are going to be joined hopefully with the Triumph. They're going to be the bodyguard unit, so that way they can basically make it so if your opponent does get up in your face, they're going to take damage, and if not, then by the time that you run across the board, they're going to take more damage than you're going to take. I think the Simulacrum Ebon Chalice is definitely one that's going to be used a lot. I think like turn 1, turn 2, I will probably choose Fiery Heart and Ebon Chalice as the 2 relics to have. Moving out of turn 1, turn 2 is where we get into some of these other ones, a little more fringe, a little more interesting. Ardent Shroud, Adepta Sororitas units within 6, add 1 to the attack's characteristics of rapid fire weapons. So that might be, if I got a lot of good shots and there's a lot of good Battle Sisters units close by, with especially if I got some Storm built Altered Dominion squads. Yeah, I might flex into that as long as I'm in bolter range, but probably not going to be flexing too hard into it. The one I think I'm really going to be using is, in combination with Chalice, is really the Icon of the Valorous Heart. That basically makes the Triumph of St. Catherine into a Hospitaller, so everybody within 6 gets a 6-up Feel No Pain. That's very durable. And being able to use multiple acts of fate, even just be using some of the small ones to be like, oh yeah, no, I gotta make a couple 3-up saves. Okay, I'll save some key units. I like that. I like being able to use any number. I like being able to have a 6-up Feel No Pain. I like being able to be like, well, I know sisters are going to die. I'm gonna need a 6, or lots of like there's. The one I'm not really like psyched about so far is the increased leadership. But I think if I'm playing defensively, 6-up Feel No Pain and multiple acts of faith per turn are definitely going to be my top 2 picks first couple turns, like I said. And the Petals of the Bloody Rose. Sisters units within 6. They make melee attacks. This is when you get those Repentia up in your opponent's grill. They have the lethal hits ability, which basically means 6s to wound are mortals. Yeah, 6s to wound mortals, and either, well, if the unit's gonna die anyways, get some more 6s, so you can actually change. You can actually, because if you're banking a bunch of 6s and tanking stuff with Feel No Pains and forcing them to really try to work really hard, but then you get up close and you're like, multiple acts of faith, I got all these 6s saved up. Let's burn those all through the Retributor squad and deal some huge damage. Triumph just really is not having all 6 of these active like they did in 9th edition, having them be more of a toolbox, and you can pick what you need during the turns. Amazing. The last ability we have over here is a invulnerable save of 4+, because characters gotta have those invulns. I'm a fan. Triumph of St. Catherine is on my short list of minis I plan on buying for 10th edition. Now, the next mini we're going to see in this article, because I have read the article, I have watched the videos. I think I said I watched the videos before. I tried recording this as like an initial hot take, but I didn't have the microphone on. Always check your microphones when you're recording. But yeah, the second data slate we have for the sisters is the Battle Sister Squad. Movement 6, same as before. Toughness 3, same as before. Base save 3+, same as before. They're in power armor. Wounds 1, same as it was. Leadership 7+, so not bad. You can average statistical roll in 2d6 is a 7, so you should be able to pass your leadership no problem with these girls. OBSEC 2, objective control 2, because they were an OBSEC troop unit in 9th edition. Everybody basically gets to be like counted as 2 models. That's how they're doing the math. Stat line hasn't changed. Ranged weapons. They've got everything a normal sister squad has. They got the storm bolter, the bolt pistol, the bolt gun, the heavy bolter, the the melta gun, the flamer, the heavy flamer, the multi-melta. They're all there. The only ones that kind of got worse is the heavy bolter. It's got a ballistic skill of 3+. The multi-melta's got a ballistic skill of 4+, but they're heavy weapons, so if you don't move, you're hitting on 3s. Stats are all still the same, except for everything but the meltas lost a pip of AP. Melta strength went up 9, but basically across the board still the same. The one weapon that's missing from this that I thought you could take on a sister squad is a combi weapon, and that's interesting because I actually have combi weapons on my sister superiors in my retributor squads. I got a combi plasma on one and a combi flamer. I don't know, a combi melta on the other one. Nope, combi flamer. This combi flamer one goes with my 4 multi-melta sisters, and the combi plasma is played in kill team and leads my heavy flamer retributor squad. So that was all kind of changed. Melta guns are 12-inch range. So ranges across the board I think actually took a hit. A lot of stuff that was really good long range guns have all shortened up. I don't think I've seen anything that's really got more than a 36-inch range so far. I think that's like max long range for guns. Melee weapons, you can get a chainsword, you can get the combat weapon, that's your slap, and you can get your power weapon. Chainsword's got 3 attacks, just like it used to. Slaps are just 1 attack per sister. Power weapon is 2 attacks per sister. Those power weapon and chainsword are basically on the sister superior, so and weapon skill 4+, it's still the same. The strengths are still the same from 9th edition. AP on the power sword, I believe that went down. See, the powers AP went down or the damage went down, but AP -2, 1 damage. It's all 1 damage across the board. Wish they had a harder hitting melee weapon, but it's sisters. Their hard hitting melee weapons are big giant chain swords, and battle sisters don't have those. They have just big guns. Abilities, they got the Axe of Faith. Yeah. Yes. St. Cath, and it's got Axe of Faith as well. Also, you get to see some abilities that come from upgrades in the form of the Cherub. The Cherub to me is a complete like glow up for the Cherub. I think I have 3 of these, and I've never used a single one in a game, because all it was you could basically pop the Cherub, get a random miracle die for a phase, and then if you didn't use it during that phase, you had to get rid of it. So I never used Cherubs, because you get it, but you're like, I don't know what to do, it's a horrible die. Even when the Leap of Faith, the secondary, was really popular, I was still like, nah, I'm not just going to get a Cherub just to get an extra miracle die that I'm going to like have to use for a bad shot to miss a shot, or to miss a wound, or to miss a save, just to be able to score an extra VP. I'd rather use them smartly and just use what I got and know, okay, yeah, I can afford to miss a shot here. I don't want to spend points for Cherubs. Now I kind of do, because it's the whole thing of like you're not down a miracle die. Technically you gain 1, but you gain 1 when you spend 1, and your chances are you're going to want to spend 1 with a sister at some point during the game. So you might as well take the Cherub and just hopefully it will turn into a miracle die you need. Next ability, and again, they put the designer's note for the Cherub. The Cherub is not a real model. Just because you can see the Cherub does not mean you can shoot the sisters. Their next ability they've got is Defenders of the Faith. This one is nuts, because this one actually makes it so you're going to technically if the only unit you had die in a turn was a battle sister, you'll gain the following number, and you've got 3 battle sisters holding objectives, because this is like at the end of your command phase. For each objective marker you control that has one or more units from your army with this ability within range of it, you gain a miracle die. That's not just one miracle die. That's every objective marker. So let's go through the math for how many miracle dice can you gain in a single turn if you're holding 3 objective markers with 3 battle sister squad. You get 1 at the beginning of the turn. You get 3 at the end of your command phase, because you're controlling 3 objectives. You are going to probably spend 1 at some point in that turn and get a 5th one. And you're probably going to spend 1 that you've, like, I'm counting, like, let's say you started the turn with 1 miracle die. Okay? So you've gone from 1 to 5. Then you're going to have a sister die. And then you're going to have the simulacrum imperialis, and that unit that spent that miracle die from that cherub and got 1 back because they spent it with the cherub, and they used it on one of their key things to deal a ton of damage with it. They killed something. That's 7. Oh, wait. And then you charge these into something else because you're hoping to be able to kill something, but you know, they're under half strength. There's only 2 of them left. You're going up to 8. Technically, you could gain 8 miracle dice in 1 turn. Even if you just charged in with a lone repentia just to be able to smack something around, that's still 8 miracle dice. And that's counting that repentia, that 1 repentia that was left out of that squad was the only model you had, only unit you had die. You can get 8 miracle dice 1 turn. That's amazing. I am so happy that I kept all my cherubs. They're all floating around. I think I got like 2, 3, maybe 4. I'm not sure. I can't remember if they came in the Sisters Combat Patrols, because I bought 2 Battle Sisters boxes and I bought 2 Combat Patrols. So if there's a cherub in the Combat Patrol, then I've got 4 of them floating around. I almost want to say there wasn't a cherub in the Combat Patrol one, but why would they leave the cherub out? I don't know. But I know I at least got 2. And I actually, one of the Battle Sister squads that I bought, I actually remodeled half of that kit into Sisters with the Simulacrum Imperialis, because I needed some for my Retributor squad. And if Retributor squads and Dominion squads and all those other squads you can build out of Sisters of Battle, out of Battle Sister squads, can still take the Simulacrums, then yeah, you just need 3 simulacrum. You just need a number of simulacrums on the table equal to the number of objective markers you're planning on controlling during the game, and you're going to be generating a ton of miracle dice. Yeah, and of course the last ability they got is they've got their 6-up invulnerable save as their Shield of Faith kind of ability. So yeah, no. I was playing the Battle Sister squads because I just loved having them to be like 5 of them to camp an objective, get out there, sit on it, perform the acts, hop out of a rhino, and sanctify it. I'm much more happy now that I have that list. I have all those Simulacrum Imperialis from those kits. I think Battle Sisters, a lot of people weren't really playing all of them. They were playing like 2 in a squad of novitiates. I'm pretty sure we're going to see 3, if not 4, Sanctum Imperialis units that can take that upgrade on the tabletop in competitive Sisters armies. I think people are going to follow my path. Weapon Spotlight. Oh, Exorcist Complication Rockets. Again, 36-inch range is the longest range I've seen. The stats on this have kind of changed. I think the number of attacks changed. The ballistic skill stayed the same. The strength stayed the same. The AP stayed the same. It gained indirect fire. Gained ignores cover. It had blast. It had heavy, but of course heavy you get +1 to hit if you stay still. So it goes to a 2+. And I will talk about indirect fire. You know, they kept the updated version from the balanced data slate for indirect fire rules. Those just got baked into the core rules. So basically, if you can't see it, then they get the benefit of cover, and you're -1 to be able to, and your ballistic skill gets worsened. So for this ignores indirect fire shots. The ballistic skill goes from a 3+ to a 4+, but they're both heavy, so that goes back down to a 3+. So as long as you can see what you're shooting at with these things, you haven't moved, you're hitting on 2s. If you have moved and you can see it, you're hitting on 3s. If you stayed still and can't see it, you're hitting on 3s. If you moved and you still can't see it, then you're actually hitting on 4s. That's the math. Now basically the rockets are your anti-infantry weapon. Your missiles are your anti-big stuff, but not like your medium armor, your light armor stuff. Because a lot of this stuff is going up. Like a rhino is T9, so this thing's gonna wound a rhino on a 3, but like knights and stuff like that, we still haven't seen the data slates for those yet, and I think those things are gonna be up there in the teens worth of toughness. So, and I really haven't. And this is one of the major gripes. People haven't seen like what is going to be Sister's big anti-vehicle gun, and I think that's going to be the Castigator. I think the Castigator cannon is going to be the shoot a knight, which means I'm probably going to need 2 more. New editions, bad for your wallet. But yeah, no, just number of shots got changed and strength got changed. AP for this one went down a little bit. I think the Exorcist is going to be good in a infantry heavy meta, and you're going to want to take the rockets a lot. If you know, there's a lot of troops and a lot of people not walking around in vehicles, then rockets get good and indirect fire gets good. But I really think it's going to be a vehicle heavy meta, at least until we start seeing codexes. Alright, so that's the indirect fire rules and the Exorcist weapons. We now have Morn Val's Lance of Illumination. Pretty much the only thing that's gone away, because you don't get an extra mortal wound on a wound roll of 6. You just, these 3 damage of this strike attack just becomes 3 mortal wounds. The APs went down on this. Strength stayed the same. The number of attacks stayed the same. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. And Val was one of my favorite characters. Is one of my favorite HQs to use for the army. So I want to see the rest of her data slate. The Lance is fine in my opinion. You know, you're gonna use it. You're gonna get in there. Last piece of the puzzle is Rejoice the Fallen. So in 8th edition, one of your sacred rites you could take was, you know, you could either roll or you could pick one. I always picked the sacred rite that was that this comes from. That sacred rite was you got a 4-up shoot on death. So whenever one of your minis died, you could roll a d6 on a 4+. It would be able to pop off a shot. And I love doing that with Retributors. Just basically being like, oh, I died. Melt a shot. You could pick whatever you wanted to shoot at, because it basically worked like a banner ability from the Adepta Adepta Sororitas, the Space Marines. Then in 9th edition, in the Bloody Rose supplement, they got a stratagem that you could spend 1 CP on anything that wasn't a Retributor squad, 2 CP if it was a Retributor squad, and that said, if a model from that squad died on a 4+, you got to be able to shoot its gun or fight. Again, the Astartes banner ability. But it costs you 2 CP. If you want to do it on Retributors. It was all you ever wanted to do, is do it on Retributors. Rejoice the Fallen is now 1 CP. You don't get to shoot with the minis that died. You get to shoot with the minis who lived. And I think having some Hospitallers or St. Catherine right there to be like 6 up, feel no pain, and then having some ways to get in cover and basically buff up the defenses, but know that you're going to lose some. Bricks of 10 sister Retributor squads with this stratagem, and having a Hospitaller join that squad, A-OK all the way in my book. I feel like I'm going to use this stratagem a lot, and if the Bloody Rose detachment is not severely like overpowered, I will probably play the Hallowed Martyrs detachment for 10th edition. Just to be able, because I just love this stratagem, because you're gonna get shot at with sisters because they get so scared of your counter charge with your repentious, with your arcoflagellants, with your sisters novitiate squad. You have all of these really, like, sisters is why I love sisters in an army. They have the ability to be like, okay, we're going to take the shooty stuff and we're going to take the melee stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the shooty stuff go out front, bait the attack, and then counter charge. You always want to keep, you don't want to just run your girls all out and keep your shooty girls in the back and be like, we're going to put down cover fire. Yeah, you want to do it with the Retributor squads, with the multi-melter, but that you want to do that when you wanted to defend the shrine and basically be like, yeah, we got these sisters in cover. They're going to be incredibly hard to shoot. They're screened out with a small repentious squad. Yeah, try to come get my objective marker. I love that secondary, and it really like taught me how to play sisters. Was you picked a spot on the table, you said this spot is mine, you stay over on your side of the table away from my spot, and you die. And this stratagem is basically, yeah, if you're gonna try to shoot my sisters are gonna shoot back, and I'm in love with this stratagem. I love this stratagem. It is so good. Oh yeah, that is the Sisters of Battle, and that is about 43 minutes. Oh my god, if you stuck around to me rambling and monologuing for this long, I just want to say thank you. You know, you enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, so let's hit that like button. Let's subscribe if you haven't tuned into me rambling before, and if you want to see more of this style of video where I go into these deeper, longer dives, I know Laura doesn't want me to do all that much, but if you guys comment down below, she might let me have some time to sit and chat and ramble with you. But yeah, I actually need to get some stuff done. I need to get this edited before midnight because this is Saturday night while I'm recording it, and this is supposed to air on Sunday. So peace. I'll see you next time, and don't forget to tune in for Recipe Roulette and Retro Reviews. Recipe Roulette is the cooking show me and Laura do. Retro Reviews is where we go through my copious amounts of gaming books, one book at a time. And yeah, no, we've got tons of great content on this channel. Go check it out. Bye.